I'm Carol Ann Ford. I played Susan in Doctor Who. And I've been listening to the Fiveish Fangirls podcast, and it's absolutely amazing. So, goodbye everybody, and it's been fun talking to you.
Fiveish Fangirls, I love you, and I'm one of the Fiveish. In fact, I'm the biggest one of the Fiveish. I am the 6th Doctor Colin Baker, and I wish you all well. Have fun.
The tangents this week continue all the way to episode number 35 of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. We did not fail. Trip prevented a disaster and Whitehall's dead. We cut off the head. And while Hydra scrambles for a new one, I will crush them. I'm gonna make someone pay, whoever the hell it is. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. Let's start off like we do every week by going around the virtual table and see who has joined us this week.
This is Brittany in Fort Pierce.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Mitch in Kitchener, Ontario.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello everyone. We are ish this week. Unfortunately, Holly came under the weather. But she sends her regards and hopes that she shall join us next week.
I hope she does too.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
Because we're gonna be all over the squee.
Yeah.
This week, but
yeah.
sorry, I just finished watching the newest episode of Once Upon a Time, and I am a little high off of happiness. And
Feels.
I will say no more
Yes.
in case people are.
Yeah.
In case people are.
Save it
haven't
for next
watched the
week.
episode yet.
Save it for next week. So.
I will save it for next week.
Yeah.
I'm keeping it in a bottle.
Yeah.
I'm all about this. But,
if you can't wait,
Which means
go
it's
see
gonna
Chrissy's blog. Yeah.
anyway, so maybe we should just jump right into
Yeah.
these, yes?
Yes, let's
Yes.
jump straight in.
Okay. Well, good thing, because I got the first one. The Saturn Award nominees have been announced. These are comic book movies and TV shows were very well represented among this year's nominees. And just kind of going over the list, on the movie side, Captain America, The Winter Soldier scored 11 nominations. Guardians of the Galaxy has 9. X-Men Days of Future Past has 5. And on TV, The Walking Dead has 7 nominations. Agent Carter and The Flash have 3 nominations each. And yeah, there's a lot. So we have the link there. And then I know the librarians got nominated for a few of these. Oh, Big Hero 6 got nominated for Best Animated Film Release. Richly deserved, because it really is the best animated movie of the year, and I will fight anyone who tells me otherwise.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can look over, and I'm sure there will be people who do. But yeah, Agent Carter is nominated, as well as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Arrow, and The Flash for Best Superhero Adaptation Television Series. Oh, where the heck did Librarians go? I know it's in here. Oh, Limited Television Series. That's the category it's in. Although it's up against Game of Thrones and Outlander and Bates Motel, which I've heard good things about, but I don't know anything else about it. So, let's see. Best Actress in Television Series, Haley Atwell, Katrina Balfe for Outlander, Rebecca Romaine for The Librarians. Haley Atwell was Agent Carter, obviously, and I'm just trying to see what else is in here.
Just the fact that there are
You can go
so
look at
many.
that.
Just the fact that there are so many superhero TV shows on now
Yeah.
that's a category.
That they have, it has its own category, which is, that is.
Yeah.
There are some really interesting categories here. I mean, there's Best Television Series, obviously, and we've got Person of Interest and Sleepy Hollow nominated for those. So I'm Superhero Adaptation Television Series. I'm just like, wow, that's interesting. And then another interesting thing, I'm just looking at this, Best Youth-Oriented TV Series, Doctor Who is nominated in that category.
Nice.
Wow.
So,
nice.
yeah, okay.
The only problem with these
Go Doctor
nominations,
Who.
I don't know who I would root for some of these, because like a lot of all the shows I've watched, like, okay,
Yeah.
who do I root for?
You root for all of
Okay,
them
now
because the odds are something you like's
now-
going to win.
True.
Now here's my question though. Now that I'm looking at this even more, best supporting actor in a TV series, Sam Heughan for Outlander. Last I checked, Jamie was one of the main characters.
Yeah, that's
actor. Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me. But whatever. And Jenna Coleman is the best supporting actress in the TV series. She's nominated for Doctor Who, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure she's the main actress in that.
A little bit.
The main character, but Peter Capaldi isn't nominated at all in any of these, as far as I can tell.
wow.
Huh. Yeah, some of these I've got a couple of eyebrows raised, and by a couple I mean both of them, because I can't raise my eyebrow by itself. I have to do two of them. Anyway, so there's the Saturn Awards. Check out the nominations. We'll have the link in our. But we did post it on our Facebook page earlier.
Yep.
The link had broken at one point, but then we found a better one and linked to it. So check it out if you are so inclined.
Yep. Woot. Alrighty then. Moving on.
Yes, I kind of got distracted by the Saturn Awards.
Yeah, we could go through that in hours.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We could have a whole podcast just about that.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Okay. Got it. You can win an Avengers Age of Ultron experience with Robert Downey Jr. So there's on Omaze,
Mm-hmm.
is that how you say?
I think so.
Where you can donate starting at $10 for 100 entries. Proceeds go towards Julia's House, a children's hospice charity. The winner will get flown to Los Angeles and have a breakfast at Randy's, take a helicopter tour around LA, go indoor skydiving, and walk the red carpet at the event with Robert Downey Jr.
Which is just the coolest thing ever.
I know.
You know, when I saw that video, I was like, "Are you serious? This is like a real, actual thing?" And they got Robert Downey Jr.
Custom tux or gown fitting.
Yeah. They're gonna get you all gussied up, and you get to go in like the limo to the red carpet and everything. And Robert Downey Jr. has promised other surprises that aren't listed. And yeah, for as little as $10, you could get like the most amazing weekend of your life with Robert Downey Jr.
Oh,
So you got $10 to spare. It's for a good cause, even if you don't win. But
Yeah, indeed.
you know.
yeah. And
And
I
on
like-
the topic of Age of Ultron, there's a new trailer out that you can check out on Facebook.
Yep. Which is actually the UK trailer. But we're not going to complain
Yeah,
because
that's
it's
not the
another
date.
trailer.
Yeah, I saw the date that said April like
23rd.
23rd or something, and I was like, "Wait, I thought it was in May."
Yeah. And then you realize it's the UK, and then you're going, why did they get it a week before we do? But that's beside the point.
That always seems to happen with these big movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's unlike the other trailers. So, I mean, you still get, it's still Ultron going, oh, I'm gonna destroy their happiness and peace and everything, but we're getting clips of stuff that weren't in the other
That
trailers.
really cool shot of them going like across the screen. Like, the whole
Oh
group.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
They're jumping across, it's like, and like the way Hawkeye is with his bow and arrow and like jumping. I was like, I love Hawkeye.
Yeah.
I'm probably in the minority, but he's one
I
of my
like Hawkeye
favorites.
when he's not.
Not possessed.
But he's not this. And I did read something earlier this week that he will be in Captain America: Civil War. So I'm like, yes, more Hawkeye, give it to me.
Yep. Yeah. But just
That wasn't officially in the news.
Avengers everywhere, and
Avengers.
Chris Hemsworth was on host Saturday Night Live last night. I don't know if you guys saw the skit he did with the Ultron as Thor.
Yeah, I think I saw gifs of it.
That's so funny. We'll have to. I think I may have posted it to our Facebook page already, but it is so funny because like Thor is like some guy from the news, and they're treating it like it's post Super Bowl or something. And the guy's interviewing Thor, and he's like, "Yeah, it looked like Ultron was gonna annihilate everyone there for a second." And Thor's all like, "Yeah, but we came back and totally took them down." They dumped Gatorade over Nick. It's so funny. Oh.
And speaking of Avengers being everywhere, Chris Pratt and Chris Evans fulfilled the second half of their Super Bowl bet, and they were at the Seattle Children's Hospital with Evans dressed up as
Captain America.
Pratt was there.
Yep.
Chris Pratt was there. He just had a Guardians of the Galaxy hat on. It was so cool.
Yeah.
And none of those quick news about Chris's and Avengers and all that stuff. Chris Hemsworth finally is on Twitter. He came on last night.
His first tweet was like, "Hey, it's my first tweet. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna go host Saturday Night Live." He's on Instagram. He's been on Instagram for a while, but apparently he was not on Twitter until yesterday. No.
William Shatner tweeted him saying, "Daddy!" And then his very next tweet was Valkyrie out. Because, Kurt and Chris plays, George Kirk in the Star Trek.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
So I saw that someone had posted a screenshot of that tweet to Tumblr. I'm like, oh yeah, and yeah.
Yeah.
So Chris's first word in the movie, and then Shatner played James Kirk in the original series. So yeah.
It's all connected.
It's all good.
All of our favorite celebrities are all connected.
It's like they're all followed by William Shatner.
Yeah.
He makes it all possible.
He's the center of the universe.
Yep.
All right.
Anyway.
All right.
Moving on.
Last bit of news. Stephen Moffat says Doctor Who Series 9 will contain more two-parters. Speaking in Doctor Who Magazine number 484, Moffat says we're changing the rhythm of the show quite a bit. For a long while, those 45-minute stories were the backbone of Doctor Who. They felt new and fresh and different. It just started to feel to me that as a member of an audience, you're getting too acquainted with the rhythm of it. You sort of think, well, now it's about time for the music to come up. Writing the first two-parter I have done in years with Dark Water and Death in Heaven, I just thought I'm liking this. This feels more unpredictable because you don't know how far you're going to get through the story. He continues, the rule I got is that you won't be absolutely certain whether the show is going to be a two-parter or not. And sometimes something that looks like it's going to be a single isn't a single. I think the nice thing is not having the feeling of it's 5 minutes to the end of Doctor Who, so he's bound to start running now. He adds, with each of two parts we're doing, there's a substantial difference between the two halves.
So essentially, Moffat is saying, I'm going to make you hang on to the edge of your seat each week, wondering if it's going to end or not.
Yes.
He's such a troll. I love him.
From Moffat. This is what we've come to expect. I love him for it, though.
So, even, yeah, it's like, and even once we get, like, the list of episode names, it's not going to be an indicator whether something is a two-parter or not, because they don't do, like, on Classic Who, where it would be, or even in New Who, like, I think maybe, The End of Time is the only one where it's, like, the End of Time Part 1, the End of Time Part 2?
Yeah, that's the only one.
Yeah.
but in classic series, you'd have like Ice Warriors episode 1 or part 1.
Yeah.
Part 2, and
Yeah.
it was all laid out.
The
like
Daleks' Master Plan, 1 through 567. Yeah.
2 years was all individual titles.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
true. Like through, I'm trying to think what the first one would have been that they didn't. I think it was
the Savages. The last
Was it the Savages? Okay.
Gunfighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, in Doctor Who, that was the first time they just started calling the whole serial a title, and then
Yeah.
part 1, part 2. Up till then, it was each episode had its own little title.
Yeah.
So they really weren't lumped together in serial format
Yeah.
because, anyway.
Yeah. Well, and even with, there are some two-parters where, like, the name kind of indicates that they're two parts of a whole, like Rise of the Cybermen, Age of Steel.
Uh-huh.
But, Dark Water, Death in Heaven, those don't really sound like they would have gone together, but they did. So, again, trolling from Stephen Moffat.
We expect nothing.
Yeah, that's just in. Doctor Who's still not on.
Yep. But they are working on it, so that's always good news.
Yeah. So
Yes.
with
The only news that, it's the second best news to, hey, we have a premiere date.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So. Anyways,
I've seen some filming on it for what I believe is the premiere. They were filming in Tenerife in the Canary Islands.
mm-hmm.
There's a video out there with Michelle Gomez and Jack Coulson.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's it for
I don't know
news.
how to go hunt that down.
Yeah. That's it for news. We did have Marvel with Friends last night. We watched the Avengers, which made me very, 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 very favorite. I was struggling to tweet because I really wanted to sit there and just quote along with it. And
When I was starting to watch it, my dad said that he would take me to see Age of Ultron for my birthday.
woo!
Yay!
That's an awesome way to spend a birthday.
My birthday weekend just seems to miss everything.
My birthday is always like.
I think the last time anything worthwhile came out on or around my birthday was Star Trek Into Darkness. Actually came out on my birthday. So that's what I did for my birthday. And then it turned out I enjoyed the movie, but most of Star Trek fandom kind of canned it. So I was like,
My birthday's that weird one in spring summer that it's like in between movie releases.
Yeah, it's not the spring blockbuster. It's not the
May,
summer
July,
blockbuster.
no, summer blockbuster. So I get a lot of big ones.
So you just need to move your birthday,
around my
Brittany.
birthday. And I remember going to the first of the 2009 Star Trek for my 19th birthday.
But we had a few people join us. We had some other people say that they would try and join us in a couple weeks, and then there are some people that know they won't be joining us in 2 weeks for Iron Man 3. But I thoroughly enjoyed myself, and even today I look at Chauncey and some random quote. I'm like, "Is the sun up? Then put it on the left."
I had every intention of joining last night up until about 4 o'clock. I got a phone call from a friend of mine, and she was all, I hadn't seen her in a while, and she's been having some tough stuff going on, so I'm like, I really need to go see her.
Yeah.
So that's what I did yesterday and today, and I was like,
My hold of the library didn't come on time. There's still like a bunch of people ahead of me, but fortunately I discovered that he owned the Avengers. So I was able to watch that copy.
wait, who has, what has the Avengers? You kind of cut out.
Oh, I wasn't able to get it from the library, but we own it, so.
There
Oh,
you go.
there you go.
Pleasant surprise. Yeah, that's one I've had in my library for a while. So.
Although, I found the case a couple weeks ago, and I looked in it, and Blu-ray's there, DVD wasn't, so I had to look for the DVD to have a Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
If I hadn't been able to find the DVD, I would have borrowed my sister's PS3 and watched it on that, but...
Don't you love technology?
I found
Don't
the
you love
DVD,
technology?
we watched it, it was good, it was fun.
Yep. My favorite. Anyway, so 2 weeks from now, or 2 weeks from yesterday, as of when we're recording this, the 21st of March, we're doing Iron Man 3. So, there's your warning
I
to
will hopefully be able to see
get your-
Karen again that weekend.
get your hands on the copy of it. Woo! Alrighty then. So, with that out of the way, we actually have feedback this week.
Okay. I feel like we should have a song.
Yeah. It's like, we're not prepared. We've got so long without any feedback. So,
I got nothing.
so our feedback this week comes from Sean from Traveling the Vortex. So, allow me. So, this message comes to you via the wonders of talk and type. I talk, it types. My new toy. We'll see how this works. What do you mean I'm off the Christmas card list because I never listen? Really? Okay. I'm not a regular with school and work and Traveling the Vortex and stuff, but I do pop in from time to time to check up on you ladies. Nice episode regarding Galley recap, though apparently I'm too late to get it in this week, so now I really look like a loser. Lay sigh. Wait a minute. See? French! I spoke some French. I'm studying and busy, and you can't blame me for missing your show. Please! Oh God! I'm in hell! Don't do this to me! I'm sorry! Uncontrollable sobbing. Maybe talk and type wasn't such a good idea. Regards, Sean.
It was even funnier when you read it out loud.
First of all, Sean, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Sean. Thank you.
Second of all, I was saying before we started recording that I was going to read this because I'm pretty sure that the "Oh God, I'm in hell, don't do this to me" is, if you've seen UHF, you know that scene. And considering Sean is a big Weird Al fan, and I am too, I think I understood where he was going with that. Sean, if I'm wrong, correct me, but either way, it's still hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely funnier read out loud, because we all read it. And
Well, I laughed when I was just reading it. And,
Yeah.
But hearing you read it out loud, that was probably the funniest thing.
Oh my. So, Sean, thanks.
Thanks.
That was
nice to hear from you.
That was a pleasant surprise in our inbox. So. Oh.
We like those kinds of surprises.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually got another message from our blog, but it wasn't necessarily a piece of feedback. It's actually something that I am working on behind the scenes that I don't want to necessarily announce right now, just because I need to confirm first. But you may have the opportunity to. It sounds really egotistical to say this, but you may have the opportunity to meet me here in a couple weeks if you're in the Indianapolis area. So if you're not going to Comic-Con this coming weekend, you may have another opportunity to meet me within the next couple of weeks. But we're still working on a potential appearance. So I will probably have more to say in next week's show. So totally dangling that carrot right there and make y'all wonder. So but anyway, so after all that, we're gonna stay in the Marvel universe. Speaking of which, And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Where do we even start with the season 2B premiere of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Obviously, we did our season 2A recap several weeks ago, so if you want to listen to that, feel free. But now it is back, which makes me very happy, and everybody else happy too. But compared to, I don't want to really compare it to anything, because you really can't compare it to either the beginning of season 2 or season 1, but they come out with guns blazing for this second part of the season. We're literally having to pick up the remains, unfortunately, of what happened in the underground temple, which unfortunately those remains include the literal pieces of Trip, which poor Trip.
That was serious.
That was tough.
I wanted to take.
Oh, Gemma's down in the tunnels, and she's with people, and they're cleaning it up, and they're getting ready to flood the city so that in theory nobody can get to it ever again. And one of the guys with a wheelbarrow full of pieces of rock, and on top there are a couple of pieces that you can tell they were Trip's face are on top of this pile, and it's just like, oh, Trip! Like, there's still part of us that was like, there's got to be some way he can come back from this.
Well, there have been a lot of behind the scenes hints that maybe he did transform into something non-corporeal.
Yeah. Oh.
So
maybe, but all I know is after that scene, I wanted to take Jim out for ice cream, and a teddy bear, and a hug.
Yeah.
And yes.
Yeah. It's the whole thing with the aftermath, and this episode was literally called Aftershocks. So the aftershocks of what happened in the mid-season finale is the team is falling apart, and it's actually kind of fitting that we watched the Avengers last night, and I don't remember if it was Brittany or Keith that they're like, oh, I see a parallel from
the fight.
Yeah, the fight, between everyone. The arguing. It was a good parallel, and like we totally did not plan it that way. It just this whole thing is just working out just nicely that we're getting these parallels and everything. Sky's in quarantine because they don't know what exactly happened to her when she was exposed to the obelisk. They can't find Raina's body, which we find out that there is no body because Raina's alive. But we knew that anyway, that Raina was still alive. Fitz is still Fitz and is struggling. Simmons is really struggling, and after the cleanup in the city, in the temple and all that, Gemma goes from being this, S.H.I.E.L.D. helps people with powers, and we're going to help them figure out how to live their lives, and these people are fascinating, to we've got to stop this stuff and eradicate whatever this is that is causing these people to have these abilities. And she wants to take Raina down, and she's very hesitant and she about Sky, and she thinks Sky could be a potential pandemic in the works. So Simmons is just complete 180 from the way she was before this happened. And I don't know if it's just because they've just lost, losing Trip was just one loss too many after, being betrayed by Ward and all this stuff and Hydra, and she just can't take it anymore, or if it's something more deep rooted, we don't know. And then Ward is nowhere to be found in this episode, which Brett Dalton afterwards Instagram a picture from a Where's Waldo picture book going, "Where's Ward?"
Yeah,
Okay, Brett, we get it. Whatever. But and then Bobby and Mac are doing their covert thing, and Hunter actually ends up calling her out on it while they're out on a mission. They come up with this plan that they're gonna hand over. What's his face? I can't think of his name. The one guy left over.
They just watched just a few hours ago. Why can't I
I'm terrible with names.
I remember that, I think.
It's the one guy that they got.
They were
Bakshi. Coulson arranges with Talbot that they're going to hand over Bakshi with Talbot giving them support in return. But on the way there, they get Coulson and May get ambushed, and Bakshi gets taken away, and May gets gunned down, and then Coulson is like, "They're not going to take us alive," and he gets gunned down. And then we realize that this was all part of Coulson's big old elaborate plan once Hunter takes Bakshi away off. And May's all like, "They're not going to take us alive," and Coulson's like, "It's the best I could come up with in a day's notice as far as a script."
And I thought that was going to be your opener for the podcast. You'll never take us alive. And it came right at just the perfect moment in the episode, because everything is so dark and heavy, because
it is.
The fall finale was so dark and heavy, so they have to deal with all the fallout from that. And then but it's it's still Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's still Marvel. They they interject
some
little
humor.
bit of humor with all the dark, and they do. And so it's that's what Marvel does. I mean, we're not DC, we're not Christopher Nolan with Dark Knight and Batman, and nobody's happy, and everyone's allergic to rainbows.
Yeah.
Or whatever. That's actually kind of funny. So Dark Knight was on TV earlier.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, that was the one I could think of off the top of my head, I guess.
It was either going to be I was either going to use what I did use, or it was going to be the little mini speech that Bobby gave to Skye while Skye was in quarantine, but telling her how much she's a rock star. But I thought that quote, the quote I did use, was more interesting because it is Coulson true and angry and wanting revenge, because up until this point, I mean, we've seen Coulson mad, but I mean, in this episode, Coulson is mad, which is so we saw Coulson in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Even watching the Avengers last night, and he confronts Loki with that big old gun, and even after Loki impales him, he's just calm, you're gonna lose. It's your nature, and that's it. So to see Coulson just get so angry and go off, and granted, the quote I used, he's yelling at Skye, and it's not that he's mad at Skye, it's just Skye is feeling really guilty. She's got survivor's guilt, really, about how she went to the temple when she knows she shouldn't have, but she did anyway, and life in the process. And now it's just, the team seems to be going to heck in a handbasket, because, Mac is pissed off at Coulson and doesn't understand, why Coulson is doing what he's doing. But, at the same time, Mac is all like, well, you know, my brain is still rattled from being possessed by the energy or whatever in the city. And then you've got Fitz, who's still struggling. You've got Simmons, who's like, we need to eradicate this now. We need, you know, if telling Coulson, you know, if your people find Raina, kill her, you know, put a stopper in this. And, you know, May is May. And it's just, you know, it's, so Sky is struggling really with what happened, and you know, she's stuck in quarantine, so she's literally you know, like caged. She's caged. She can't go out and do anything. You know, she's hooked up to all these monitors, and at one point while they're having the big argument that parallels the one in the Avengers, you know, she starts to like stress and like almost have like a Bruce Banner moment. And you know, the monitors start going crazy, and it starts shaking, the ground starts shaking, her drink starts shaking, and yet nobody seems to notice, which I don't understand. I'm like, the monitors are going red and blinking, and it's beeping, and nobody is noticing.
And everything crashes, and like, is it like right after or soon after?
Well, she has the first small. She has like the first small incident while they're having the argument. Nobody seems to notice, but then they're doing blood work on her, and Fitz comes back explaining to her, you know, the heart monitor that she was wearing, that we saw her wear when May became her SO. You know, teaching her to be calm while shooting a gun and all that. Her heart monitor registered that her BPM got to like 300 beats per minute, which is, if you're a human, you'd be dead for a heart to be going that fast. And Fitz literally uses the word inhuman.
Yep.
Which, hello, there you go. There's your literal little tie-in to what's happening. And then with the you know, Fitz is just going on and on and on about how, you know, there's something seriously wrong with her and she's not normal. And she gets stressed out again to the point where a real, like, crazy earthquake happens and she blows out, like, the giant light in her quarantine room. And it's just, you know, she flips out, which you can't blame her. I mean, she's been through some crazy stuff recently, between being reunited with her father and finding out her father really is as crazy as she thought he was, and, you know, now this, and realizing that she's, you know, no longer the person she thought she was. She loses it. Still, nobody seems to notice except for Fitz.
Yeah. And, like, Agent May comes down to check on her after all this, and I'm like, okay, did you not notice that, like, the power's out and all this stuff has been blown out and all this stuff? Like, wouldn't you? I mean, Agent May, come on! Agent freaking May. You're not, you know, just some random idiot red shirt number 426. You are.
Yeah.
That rich. I won't lie.
Yeah. So, but Fitz ends up, after seeing what happened to Sky, Fitz ends up finagling her blood work so that, as far as everyone else is concerned, her blood work her blood that they had on file now matches what they had on file before, went into and was, you know, experienced the obelisk. So and they have a nice moment there at the end of the episode, which was like, oh, Fitz, I love you. So, because Fitz realizes that Sky is struggling, and I think he sees some of what she's going through in himself, and real angry at her and belittling her for being different than who she used to be is not going to help anybody, because it didn't help him any. So they have a nice moment. That, and I think Fitz realizes that, the team may treat her differently if they realize how different she is. But from the previews from the upcoming episode, I don't think her secret is going to stay a secret for very long.
Yeah.
But
We thought that was going to be. If anyone thinks that's going to be the case,
yeah.
no.
Oh, she's going to need a lot of support. But in the meantime, Coulson is on this vendetta to try and get Hydra where it hurts, as quick and as fast as possible. So Whitehall's dead, but we find out that was not the be all to end all as far as in the Hydra upper rankings. And we realize that there are a group of like 5 or 6 that make up like this board of directors, I guess, for Hydra. Well, that's a Hydra, cut off one head, 2 grow in its place. So,
Yes, it's true.
So having multiple people in charge makes it easier to keep the organization alive, I guess. But with this whole thing with Bakshi, Hunter ends up convincing Bakshi that Hunter has been hired by Hydra, somebody within Hydra, to kill him for money. And Bakshi convinces Hunter, and I'm assuming that he never saw Hunter while he was being held captive at the S.H.I.E.L.D. base, so therefore he does not know that he's S.H.I.E.L.D. But Bakshi ends up taking Hunter to the home of one of these people. There's like 3 or 4 gentlemen and a woman, and we don't get names for any of them. We get like code names, like there's the banker and the sheik and one other, and then there's this guy, and then there was Whitehall, and these people, we actually see them towards the beginning having a meeting and talking about, well, who should take Whitehall's place. And they say, well, if whoever can take out S.H.I.E.L.D. will prove themselves worthy to take Whitehall's seat. But through the process of Bakshi thinking that there's somebody within Hydra who's betraying the others, they end up killing each other, and then Hunter and Bobby end up killing the last guy. Which, bravo to Coulson for coming up with this idea. And even Bakshi says, once Hunter and Bobby burst in and take out the other people in the room, it's like you convinced them that there was somebody who was betraying the others, and therefore they would take out each other, thinking that they were taking out the betrayer, and therefore doing a lot of the work for S.H.I.E.L.D. Very smart. Bravo to Coulson. For that. Bloom, that was the guy that Bakshi was taken to. But there's another person still who apparently goes by the name of Dr. List that is still out there. But I guess they're still going to take Bakshi to Talbot, just like they originally planned.
Yeah, like Bobby said, "Oh, you're perfectly safe." I'm like, I don't think so. But
Yeah.
okay.
yeah. But meanwhile, Raina has emerged from the underground city, and we finally see what exactly Raina turned into, and she's not happy about it at all, which I can't blame her. She kind of looks like the best I can figure is she kind of looks like a porcupine.
Yeah,
That's what I said.
Yeah.
The funniest thing about, okay, it's not very funny, but it's funny to me because I have this sort of sense of humor, I guess. so assuming,
Mm-hmm.
is that she was the one, and the episode points this out. She points out that she was the one that was like, oh, we're going to change it to something and be so this marvelous, immortal, like, it's almost this religious, orgasmic experience for her, that what she's going to become, and all these different things. And she's a glorified pincushion, is basically what she is, and she's so mad about it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I did feel sorry for her a little bit, but then I remembered, like, what she's kind of, what, you know, who she's sided with, what she's done, and I'm like, honey, you don't have my sympathy at all.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, like, she was all gung-ho for this, like, I am this special, awesome sort of person thing, I'm this alien, and I'm going to rule over humanity, and Sky, you know, is sort of in that same boat, where she is this inhuman, and she's been chosen and everything, and she did never want it, and Raina is just, like, all jealous of Sky, because her power is not being sandpapery all the time.
Yeah.
Where she still looks normal, but she can't control her power or whatever. So it's just, I don't know. Raina, her story is one of tragedy, but I don't really feel sorry for her, and that makes me a bad person, but I don't care.
No, she's hard to have sympathy for, because she was always...
Yeah.
I mean, she never really sided with one side or the other. She really sided with whoever was going to get her to the temple so that she could have her transformation. That was her ultimate goal. She could care less. SHIELD, Hydra, the CIA, FBI, you know, she did not care. She just wanted to get to the temple with the diviner and have the diviner dispel its wisdom upon her. And she didn't get what she thought she was going to. The way she ends up meeting up with Cal, Sky's father, and, you know, she says to him, you know, my grandmother explained to me that I would be like an angel, you know, this like ethereal type thing, and she's all like, I'm hideous, I hurt, I cut myself every time I move, because she's literally covered with these spikes, which made it really easy for her to make her escape out of the city, because she was just able to slash up whoever was in her way. But, you know, she's like, my insides feel like gravel. And, you know, she's just, it's not becoming, you know. She thought she was going to be like Tyra, she thought she was going to be like Tyra Banks when she came out of this thing, and she got quite the opposite. But Cal was trying to run away. But when Raina catches up with him and explains to him that Sky actually also went through the transformation as well, he decides to stay, because he thinks Sky will need him, because he's convinced that her team will turn on her once they find out what happens to her, which is kind of what Fitz is thinking, which is why Fitz did what he did with her blood work, trying to make it look like she didn't really change. But you know, Raina is pleading with him, you know, how, you know, you got to fix this, and he's like, I can't, you know, once you change, and it's for life. And he essentially tells Raina, if she can't live with it, then don't. And to go off herself if she really can't live with it. And I think she knows that SHIELD is looking for her, because she goes to the highway and walks out into traffic, but it's not in a way that she thinks somebody's gonna like run her over, I think. But I think she knows if she causes a big enough, you know, incident, that, you know, SHIELD will come after her in hopes that, you know, and they do. It
doesn't look like she's actually trying to off herself. It's just, she's just sort of wandering out into the road.
Yeah. Well, she's not trying to off herself by using traffic. Because SHIELD actually does come and surround her. And she's all like, you know, if she essentially tells them to shoot her and finish her off, because they're all like, we're not here to hurt you, we're here to take you in. And she's like, you're not going to take me in, you're going to have to kill me. And
I think she says, you kill me or I would make you kill me. I think that's what she said.
Yeah, is essentially what she says. But before any of that goes down, the gentleman that we saw at the fall, the first half season finale, the gentleman with the no eyes, swoops in and grabs her, like teleports. He's got like teleportation type powers, and he swoops in and grabs her and says, don't worry, I'm here to help you, and takes off with her. And we actually find out at the beginning of this episode, we get a flashback to like the early 80s, and it's an unidentified location, and we see this same guy as a young boy, like preteen type age, where he's just experienced the transformation with the obelisk. And he's really confused and scared about what's going on. And Sky's mother is actually there, because she's able to live so long. She ages so slowly. She's lived up to this point. She's lived so long, and she's with this older, like, Chinese gentleman, and he tells her, it's a good thing that you age so slowly so that you're able to help these people once they go through their transformation. And so she actually goes to this young boy, and he actually knows her. He recognizes her voice, but she comes to him and, consoles him and tells him, it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna help you. So at some point in between Sky's mother getting her inhuman ability, which I'm assuming her ability was the slow aging, and Whitehall.
She regenerated, or she it's kind of like Wolverine, basically, wasn't it? Because that's why Whitehall dissected her and took her essence or her ability into himself, so that he would be immortal forever.
But it's at some point between her gaining her inhuman ability and Whitehall dissecting her, she spent her time helping other Inhumans go through, deal with their transformation. It seems to be just like a crapshoot in what your ability will be once you're exposed to the power of the obelisk. In this guy's case, I'm assuming he lost his eyes with it, and gained the teleportation powers. Although he may have been blind beforehand, we don't know. We may find out more, as it goes on.
His teleportation powers were just
Well, I don't know,
were just out of control, and he didn't know where he was going.
Yeah.
I don't think he was blind, because I remember him saying in the beginning of the episode saying that he can't see. So I think he wasn't blind.
I don't know.
So I remember him saying that he can't see. So I think I remember him saying that.
Yeah.
He did say something about not being able to see, which if he'd been blind before, that wouldn't be something new, and he wouldn't have mentioned it.
Yeah. So there's that, and we're obviously going to see more of this guy as the season goes on. And then one of the last things we see is Bobby and Mac still have their side thing going on that we're not quite sure what it is. And while Bobby and Hunter are on their mission with the taking down of the Hydra higher ups with Bakshi and all that, Hunter actually says something to Bobby about, I think you and Mac have some sort of secret, because when they were having their argument, when Mac was going off on Coulson, Bobby kept to the sides and didn't really say anything, in fear that Mac may, reveal their secret. And Bobby tells Hunter that they're in therapy, that they're in like group therapy with like other SHIELD, I'm assuming with other SHIELD operatives, because they've lost so many people. So they're in like this recovery group. And Hunter laughs at her because he's Hunter. And Bobby's like, well, that's why I wasn't going to tell her. But towards the end of the episode, once Sky has been released from quarantine, the gang's hanging out, and Mac has apologized to Coulson about going off and tells Coulson, I'm still shaken up from being possessed. And, I hope this doesn't, tarnish what you think of me. And Coulson's like, no, it's okay. I understand. We've all been through a lot. And so the crew is having like, they're reminiscing about Trip, and having beers and stuff. But we find out that the little remote RC version of Lola that Mac made and gave to Coulson, which doesn't fly, much to Coulson's disappointment, because he's like, I couldn't figure out how to make it fly, and Mac's all like, it doesn't. But we see the miniature Lola in Coulson's office, and like the hood pops open and scans Coulson's office while he's not there, and eventually zeroes in on Coulson's desk. And then we see Bobby and Mac talking over in the kitchen, and they're all like, yeah, the scan confirms that Fury's toolbox, which Fury gave Coulson at the end of season 1, is hidden in Coulson's desk. And then I think Bobby says something about, well, I'll make contact soon. So Bobby and Mac might be doing a little something on the side that may or may not be good. And Coulson doesn't know it, as far as we know. And that could be bad. Maybe. A little bit. Could be.
We will find out as the season unfolds.
I've seen some comments, and of course, this is all speculation because we really have no idea, but some people think that Bobby and Mac are still on SHIELD's side, but apparently there is potentially a group of SHIELD like operatives that aren't 100% behind Coulson's way of doing things, or they could be spying on Coulson on Fury's behalf because Fury doesn't want to make contact or something. I don't know. There's several theories about what Bobby and Mac are up to, and some are less nefarious than others, which I would, I don't know enough about like the Inhumans and like the Civil War storyline, because some people think that this is not only leading into the Inhumans movie, but it's also helping to lead into the Civil War storyline. That Simmons' attitude may put Simmons on the side of like the superhero registration that is the basis for the Civil War storyline, because we're probably going to see SHIELD divided with the Civil War storyline, possibly. So because I can't see Bobby and Mac being like Hydra or something, because we've already done that with Ward, and I can't see them doing that again.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, is now we're kind of looking for the Hydra, boogeyman in the closet.
Yes.
We're like, okay, who's Hydra? Do I really trust you? Like, there was that episode at the beginning of the season where Simmons was a Hydra, and Bobby was a Hydra operative, unquote. And, like, the whole time I'm like, okay, why is this woman helping Simmons? Like, 'cause Simmons, she got cornered, and they were going to find her out, and I'm like, I don't know if I trust you yet. But then, the story gave me reasons to trust Bobby. as the story goes on, like, okay, now I get it. You really are a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. You were just, you were stationed at Hydra to help Simmons and to gather intel and, whatever. And so it's like, I don't think that they would go back and say, oh, just kidding, she actually was a Hydra operative the whole time, so she's a double, triple, quadruple agent, Severus Snaped everybody out the wazoo.
Yeah.
Like, no, let's not go there.
Yeah. I think for the most part, once somebody has shown their hand of whose side they're truly on, they've stayed there. Like, even once Ward played his hand and showed that he was Hydra, he stayed Hydra. Even if he wasn't in the same, like, complete mentality as the rest of Hydra, like, his motivation for doing what he did was different than, like, Whitehall's. But Ward has stayed true to being a Hydra operative. Even at this point, we don't know where he is and what he's doing. Although, again, Brett Dalton, they've got, I don't know if Marvel's got some sort of something or other, like, campaign, and some people are, like, campaigning that they're with Ward. So that may change, but at this point, if somebody has said, I am in this camp, I'm in this camp, and that's it. Even with Hunter, it's been looked like a couple of times Hunter's betrayed S.H.I.E.L.D., but he's not. He's a jerk, but he has not betrayed S.H.I.E.L.D. whatsoever. So, even with Marvel playing the long game and us having to wait and see what everybody's end game is, we're seeing what their motivations are, at least to a point, and they're sticking to their convictions. Whether we like it or not, they are who they are, and that's how they feel about it, and you're not gonna change their mind. So that's my opinion on it, at least. So, but I'm excited to see where it goes and see, how or if this ties into Age of Ultron here in like 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 7 weeks or however many weeks we have till the movie comes out. So however many weeks it is, it's very close. So, but I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I really do. I love this. I'm not going to get on that soapbox again because I got on that soapbox several times. But when I was talking to Chauncey the other night and I was explaining to him, like the connections, because I was all excited, for us to do Marvel with Friends the other night to do the Avengers. And of course, I'm excited because it's my favorite movie in the MCU to begin with. But I was more excited after watching Agent Carter so that, now we get these scenes with Natasha Romanoff. And it's like, I know what she's talking about. We know the connection now. I get that reference. I'm like, I'm like Steve Rogers. I got that reference, So, as they put more and more canon and continuity into the pot, it gets more and more exciting to, watch and make the threads and make the connections. And, my fan girl is just like, I'm like Mr. Burns in The Simpsons. I'm like, excellent. Keep it coming. Anyway. Fangirl.
Yes.
Keep me all excited about Marvel.
Embrace the fangirl.
Yes. I'm like Coulson with Captain America. It's a vintage set. I was there when you were sleeping.
Not in a creepy stalker way.
Yes, not at all.
Presence in the room. I love Marvel.
I do too, and it's just it gets more exciting with every week. And this coming week should be fun too because Lady Sif is going to be back.
Yay! I know. I'm so happy for this. I love it when they get characters from the movies into the TV shows, because it just makes it even more yay.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Lady Sif. Sif is just, oh, I want a whole storyline with Sif. Can we get that?
Yeah.
Even if it's just a one shot, just give me something.
Yes. We need more one-shots. We need Lady Sif. We need another one with Maria Hill. And we need more. More. So.
Oh, you can't produce it fast enough for me.
Yeah. We're like junkies. I need a fix. I need a fix.
I know. And again, I'm repeating this, I need to know how Howard met Maria.
Yeah.
I need to know this. I don't know why. You haven't given me any reason to want it. I just want it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Absolutely. Anyone have any final thoughts? Other than Squee? Or even Squee. Squee would be good.
Our lives are gaining meaning again.
Squee, Marvel! Our shows are back. It's like our routines are getting back to the way we remembered, and it makes us very happy. So, yay! All right then. Well, if nobody has anything else, then
Can't think of anything.
we shall
Stick
along for the ride.
If you have, yeah. Send in your feedback if you have any. Thank you again, Sean, for sending in feedback. That was very nice of you. Go to our website, the5ishfangirlspodcast.blogspot.com. Follow us on Twitter at FiveishFangirls. Facebook, we're there. We're on Tumblr. We're on YouTube. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Write a review on iTunes if you feel so inclined after you've subscribed. And Patreon, if you have a couple extra bucks that you want to help us keep this show coming, we would very much appreciate it. It all goes to keeping the show on iTunes and all those sorts of things, and growing and helping the show. That's all that's for.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I plugged everything sufficiently.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't think of anything else. Unless you ladies can have something else to say, yay this.
If you are going to be at Comic-Con in Indianapolis this coming weekend, the weekend of March 13th, 14th, and 15th, I will be there. So hit me up on the Instagram or the Twitter. I will try and check that as often as possible, but I may just be so excited about, anything and everything and I may forget, but
Comic-Con is just a sensory overload of everything.
It is, and I haven't been to this particular one, so I'm not entirely sure what to expect from this particular event, but I'm very excited. And as of the time we're recording, Jenna Coleman is still coming, so
all right then.
I'm
That'll
still.
Be awesome. You'll have to, if you don't melt into a pile of goo,
yeah.
Tell us all about it.
Yes. So I will have my report not next episode, but the episode after that, because Comic-Con runs 3 days. So I will hold off. We will be covering Once Upon a Time's return next episode, and then I will have my Comic-Con report the episode after that. But
so if you have feedback about Once Upon a Time, just covering the first episode of season 4B, supposed to be Darkness on the Edge of Town. Yeah. So if you want to send in feedback, that would be awesome. And also, Brittany, the photo challenge is still going on, correct? ABCs of the 90s. Yes, and then the book club, Traveling the Vortex Book Club, they're reading Silhouette by Justin Richards, so I got the book. I need to start reading it.
I got it on the 1st of March, and it was done by the 3rd.
Yeah, it's a pretty short, quick little read, it looks like.
It's a very engaging read as well.
So
Okay, yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
Okay, quick.
And based on what the guys said, and based on what I read, because I guess Silhouette, and it's like part of like a 3 parts that kind
Well,
of
there were 3.
kind of connect. They're
there
12th
were
Doctor
3,
novels, right?
No, I've read the first 2 now, and they're not really connected.
No, okay, because
There
I know.
were 3 12th Doctor books that came out about the same time.
Yeah,
so-
because
Yeah.
I know it was. I think it was Glenn that was concerned that they were connected somehow. But I'd finished Engines of War, and those 3 specifically are advertised in the last few pieces of paper in Engines of War. So it's like, oh, that's what they're talking about. So
Yeah, the way they publish them, I think
They were the next book to come out after it.
yeah, which that makes
Yeah.
sense.
It's the way they publish them, because they publish them and they commission them, I guess is the right terminology. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but they commission them in chunks, so they get like 3 or 4 authors to write a bunch. Because
Yeah.
they did this during the Matt Smith years and David Tennant and all that. And so then they all come out roughly the same time. So that it's not that they're connected to each other, but they're just out.
Ah,
They don't really have any continuity beyond this is the Doctor, this is the companion.
oh, okay.
And they might reference some TV stories, but that's about it. That's
Yeah.
about it for continuity that you need to know with these things.
Oh, okay. That's cool. All right.
Yeah, pretty
Awesome.
much.
Well, and on the topic of mentioning, as I mentioned earlier, I'd be going to Toronto Comic-Con, not this weekend, but the next weekend. So if I do, I'll have a small commentary at the beginning of the next episode, which is talking about the return of Doctor Who, the 10th anniversary of the new series.
Woohoo!
So, which will fit in because, again, I'm hopefully going to meet Karen Gillan there. Karen Gillan was part of the series.
It all works
It all
out.
works.
It can
It's all connected.
We planned it that way. I swear we did.
Totally.
Totally worked out that this
What
all
we
just,
do
you know,
around here.
yeah, with the
Yep.
Marvel friends and all that. We're all geniuses, is what we are.
Have a lot of foresight.
Yes. All right. Well, in that case, unless anybody else got anything else to add, goodness, I can't talk. I'm so excited about
It's
Comic-Con.
late for you.
Comic-Con excitement is starting to sink in. I'm like, woo! So, with that, we will sign off for this week. Hopefully. Did we lose Brittany?
Brittany?
Might have.
We might have lost Brittany.
I'll just.
Oh, Brittany is having technical difficulties. Yeah. This is the way it works,
sign off,
folks.
I guess.
So she can hear us, but we can't. We can't hear her. Well, we'll sign off for you, Brittany. How's that?
Yeah.
This is Brittany. This is Brittany in Fort Pierce.
This is Christy in Salt Lake City saying goodnight.
This is Mitch saying goodnight from Kitchener, Ontario.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Don't you love technology? Good night, everyone.
Only on some days.
This is real life, people. This is how it works.
You're getting us sports and all.
Yep. Pay no attention to the band behind the curtain. Good night, everyone.
You have been listening to the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. Any and all movies, books, games, and other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied.